Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your Everyday Literature Analysis with your host and resident literature fiend. Today, we're diving into Jane Austen's Persuasion, her final completed novel. Published posthumously in 1817, it's widely regarded as one of her most mature and introspective works. If you've ever wondered what Austen sounds like with all the romantic wit toned down and the emotional realism dialed up, this is that novel. Let's begin with the essentials. Persuasion is about love, regret, and second chances. But it's also about the harsh boundaries of social class, the weight of family opinion, and a woman quietly learning to reclaim her voice in a world that would rather she stayed silent. We follow Anne Elliot, intelligent, composed, and deeply introspective. 8 years before the main events of the story, Anne was engaged to Frederick Wentworth, a young naval officer. But, under the pressure of her family, especially her well-meaning but class-conscious friend Lady Russell, Anne was persuaded to break it off. He had no title, no fortune, and no rank, just ambition. That decision lingers with her, quietly shaping her life. Now, years later, Wentworth returns. Wealthy, accomplished, and, as fate would have it, renting the Elliot family estate. Anne and Wentworth's social circles begin to intertwine once again. What follows is a narrative charged with unspoken emotion, missed chances, and deep internal conflict. Anne, now older and wiser, begins to navigate her feelings, not just for Wentworth, but for herself. She's a woman who's lived with the quiet ache of lost love. And yet, Austen never makes her bitter. Anne remains clear-eyed and empathetic. As for Wentworth, he's outwardly polite, even cold at times, but we gradually see the unresolved hurt, especially as he begins to court Louisa Musgrove. It's not quite a love triangle, but it is a study in emotional restraint and social appearance. Let's pause to consider some major themes Austen explores. Regret and second chances. The novel's emotional core is Anne's regret, but Austen shows that redemption is possible. Choices made in youth don't have to define your future. Social class and gender. Austen critiques a system where birth matters more than merit. Women especially had little room to deviate from social norms without paying a high price. Influence of family and friends. Lady Russell's persuasion wasn't malicious, but it was misinformed. The novel examines how even loving guidance can go astray when it prioritizes class over character. Love and loyalty. Wentworth and Anne's love endures across time, distance, and silence, not because of grand declarations, but because of their inner steadfastness. Self-discovery and growth. Most of all, Persuasion is about Anne discovering her own voice. It's about agency in a society that often denied women their own stories. Now, let's talk structure. Persuasion isn't just a romance. It's a social critique, wrapped in subtle prose. At its core, this novel pits two ideas against each other: the rigidity of inherited class and the mobility earned through merit. Anne Elliot belongs to the landed gentry, but her family's wealth is declining. Her father, Sir Walter Elliot, clings to aristocratic pride while ignoring the financial reality. His obsession with rank, titles, and appearances blinds him to the value of character and achievement. Contrast this with Frederick Wentworth, who begins with neither title nor land, only talent and ambition. By the time he returns, he's made a fortune through the Royal Navy, gaining respect, wealth, and status. Yet, for all his success, class snobbery lingers. Wentworth is still seen as lesser by Sir Walter and Anne's sister Elizabeth, who measure worth by lineage rather than merit. This is the crux of Austen's critique, the idea that who you are matters less than what you're born into. And through Anne's journey, Austen reveals how hollow and damaging that idea can be. Lady Russell, Anne's closest friend and mother figure, exemplifies the internalized values of the gentry. She persuades Anne to break off the original engagement, not out of cruelty, but out of a belief that status matters more than love. She's a complex character, caring, principled, and yet trapped in the conventions of her time. Through her, Austen shows how even wise mentors can unintentionally steer us away from happiness if they're blinded by class prejudice. In the novel's final act, Austen lets emotion break through. Wentworth writes Anne a letter, one of the most passionate in all of Austen's work. That letter is not just a confession, it's a culmination, a moment where pride dissolves and vulnerability triumphs. In the end, Anne and Wentworth reunite, not because society permits it, but because they have both evolved. They've earned the right to choose, and they choose each other. So, what is Persuasion, really? It's a novel about second chances, not just in love, but in identity. It's about how we come to trust our own judgment. And it's Austen, looking squarely at the structures around her and asking, what if love, steady, quiet, enduring love, was stronger than class? Thank you for joining me. This has been your everyday literature analysis, with a novel that is anything but everyday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your favorite Austen moment in the comments. Until next time, keep reading and stay persuaded by literature.